Surprise, surprise, Rockstar Games is making Grand Theft Auto 6. Let's talk about Tango Gameworks Scarefest, Ghostwire Tokyo. And I've got some thoughts on OlliOlli World. All that and the latest and everything cool today in the Rundown. Hey, welcome to the Rundown, everybody. My name is Victor Lucas, and joining me today is my buddy Jose Sanchez, Don Fubar himself. And how are you doing, Foobs? How's everything going?
It's another Fubar Friday in quarantine.
I love it, brother.
The first Fubar Friday of February. It's a lot of Fs.
A lot of Fs, yes it is. Well, listen, we've got a lot to get into today with the Rundown. It is brought to you by the Gaming Stadium. They are Canada's leader in online esports tournament facilitation. They've got a great facility, and they've got cool tournaments happening every single weekend that you don't want to miss out on. You can find out all about them at tgs.gg, and they've also got a brand new platform called pepper.gg, and this is for people that want to make their own tournaments and maybe put some cash on the line, get some bragging rights in there. You should, if you're one of those competitive players out there and you want to create your own tournaments, check out pepper.gg.
Just don't be salty.
Don't be salty, that's right. Actually, I think you can be salty on pepper.gg. Okay, we do have a dedication today, and this one is going out to Mr. John Reed, who said, Cad Bane always makes me think of Ed Harris as the man in black from Westworld. I know Cad is supposedly patterned off Sergio Leone characters, but Cad and the MIB are cut from the same cloth of awesome bad guys. Absolutely. I was spoiling the hell out of the latest episode of the Book of Boba Fett. Thanks. I almost said the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Because the man... Oh, yeah, you haven't seen anything
nope.
yet.
I'm on episode 1. Thanks. I guess I can expect some surprises.
You're going to see some pretty cool surprises. Ruined. Incredible show, though. It is really absolutely outstanding. That is one of the things that everybody on the internet is chattering about, including myself here. And lots of you, I think, are also huge fans of what's going on in Star Wars land. But what's happening in PlayStation land this week, there are a bunch of different things, but the Bungie news was a big deal, and we didn't talk about that. PlayStation picking up Bungie. What were your thoughts on all this? What
a steal! Under $4 billion, you know? Steal of a deal there, PlayStation. I mean, it's funny to me, the people that are just like, oh, they did this because of what Microsoft did. Like they could just whip up this deal in a matter of days.
Yes.
They're like, we gotta scramble, guys. Scramble
a week
$4
later.
billion. Yeah. It's like, I'm sure they've had this in the works for a minute. I mean, cool to see that it's happening. Good for Sony. I mean, they're going to be, but it's just like, I mean, Bungie obviously known for the amazingness that is Destiny and the longevity that it has prolonged throughout the couple of games that it's had.
Yeah.
I feel like it's an interesting purchase. I mean, it's $4 billion because right now it's really just Destiny, right? I mean, I don't know what else Bungie's working on.
You know what it is? It is the people. It is all of the different people that work at Bungie. And one of the crazy things that they did is they actually spent $1.2 billion of that $3.6 billion on people retention, which is a huge deal. And it's basically turned a lot of the employees there into very rich people right out of the gate. I think there's probably conditions, they have to stay there for a while, but Bungie is working hard to keep the employees that exist there and the mind share and the experience. And I think they're really trying to sort of set the tone for live service games in the future, but also all of this cross-content pollinate or cross-console pollination that the Bungie folks have been able to do. It was a strategic move for sure, but you're right, it wasn't something that came together in a week. They've been working on this for a long time. But I'm wondering if Bungie also talked to Microsoft, and I'm also wondering now if Activision Blizzard talked to PlayStation, because these things don't happen in full-on, isolation.
Yeah.
And there's not just one potential suitor for all of these things. It's a chess game that's happening. But then, coupled with that news this week was also that MLB is made by PlayStation is going on every console. So
yeah,
it's a very weird time in the video game business right
but
now.
I feel like it's a progressive time. Things are happening that seem like they're one-sided, but theoretically could be better for people on both sides.
Totally.
Or all the sides, I guess.
All sides, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you who is incredibly happy right now are all the fine folks that have been bringing the Nintendo Switch out to us.
It's no surprise that Nintendo Switch has been a blockbuster success right out of the gate, but now we're getting a better idea of just how successful the console is. In recent discussions with investors, Nintendo revealed that the Switch has sold 103 million units, which is more than the Nintendo Wii, and it's closing in on the Nintendo DS, Game Boy, and PS2. Vic, does this surprise you at all?
No, I think that this is Nintendo's best console. And honestly, if I had to pick one console that I like more than any other console, it's the Nintendo Switch because of its flexibility and its portability. And I've said this before. I mean, I like all the machines and I like playing everywhere, but the Switch is very special because it bridges the full gap of what Nintendo has always done. It's got the console experience and the handheld experience. You don't have to leave these games that you're playing. You can continue playing wherever you want to. I thought it was crazy when I first saw it, and I thought there were too many pieces, and there were like, why do we have everything transforming like this? But I have really, really grown to love this console.
First launch with that Optimus Prime color scheme. Some will say Mario.
Yeah. I know they should absolutely do that. Yeah, so having the Switch now for 5 years and knowing what a great machine it is and knowing how easy it is to recommend to any family out there, Plus they've got games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which has sold 40 million copies.
That's almost half.
It's
almost
insane.
Half the people. Yeah. It's like, well, you got to count the people that have double dipped in Switches. You know what I mean? Like, it's safe to say that almost half of the people with a Switch have this game.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
So, yeah, and I'm not exactly surprised that it's, selling as well as it is, but it's interesting to kind of compare the numbers because 103 million is edging, passing the Wii is a huge accomplishment, but it isn't getting up there quite yet to the Game Boy sales, which I think over there, its lifespan was 118 or so, 120 million, and the DS and the PlayStation 2 are also around 150 million, but the Switch, I think, has got a pretty good shot at getting there. It's still selling, and like Nintendo's not moving quickly to replace it yet. At least they're not telling us if they're doing that.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because like if Nintendo, I mean, with the Game Boy and the DS sales being so high, it's because Nintendo kept reiterating the handheld genre for so long, and it was just like the Game Boy, the DS might have sold more if the 3DS didn't come out, and the new 3DS is like, are all those clumped in as one? Because what's the combined sale for the lifespan of what a DS is from the beginning to the end? How many units did those sell together? Because I bet it's gazillions. I think
like that's what it is.
More.
I think it's the entire lifespan and every iteration. And the Switch has had a number of iterations here. We're looking at launch footage of what the Switch looks like, which honestly, it looks so primitive now, now that the OLED has kind of come in and replaced it.
Mediocre.
And that's something that you can certainly levy at the machine itself, too. It's always been a little anemic compared to the horsepower of the other machines. But Nintendo and smart developers for it, indie developers, have really found a way to make the best of what they have available to them. And there have been some phenomenal games on the machine. It's not just the hardware. It's not just the cool idea of the concept of the hardware. It is, game after game after game that really, really delivers. And it started with that 2017, man. It was just incredible.
Oh, but like honestly though, somebody sent me a link of somebody recreated Zelda, Ocarina of Time in like Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
Oh, when you see that, it's just like, well, like how many people worked on this? Because if it was just one guy, I'm so upset. I'm so mad. Like, what is happening? That thing looks incredible. And I'm like, could you just imagine Nintendo said, surprise guys, we've been working on this, and it's just the Ocarina of Time Unreal remaster
for the
PlayStation 5.
No, for the for the Switch 2. Yes, I could imagine that in this crazy 2022. But, let us talk a little bit about the sales success here. And it started with Doug Bowser, who is the president at Nintendo of America, said a picture is worth over 103 million smiles. Thank you for your support. Hardware, 103.54 million units, and software is 766.41 million units. So they're edging close to a billion in software sold for this platform, which is phenomenal, man. It is just absolutely incredible. And of course, the speculation about the replacement Switch has happened, I think, since 2019. Launched in 2017, and like almost right away, it's like, okay, when's Switch 2 coming? You know, this is nice, but when are we going to get 4K and all the other cool things with it? But
like, we're not worried about that, guys.
They haven't done anything to even. I almost feel like the OLED was potentially going to be that, and then the supply chain issues and the chip shortages were a major problem, and they weren't able to do that. I don't know, though. I don't know. And honestly, these sales are being affected by the chip shortages and supply chain and all that stuff. But I did tweet out today, I asked people if Nintendo should announce a successor to the Switch this year. And you can see 70% of the people that posted, I got about 450 votes so far. I had to take a picture of this early, but most people said no. And that kind of shocked me, because I think we're ready for the next stage from Nintendo.
Yeah, but I feel like having had the OLED just come out to announce another one on top of it, it would just upset the people that just got the OLED. They're like, or are still waiting to get it. They'd be like, well, by the way, thanks for buying it, but we got another thing coming out. I'm like,
The only thing that they could do to appease people, if they do come out with that soon, is
add a second screen to the Switch, so flip up. Like
Switches.
Switch DS.
That would be kind of crazy. No, but it needs to be backwards compatible. They need to be like upfront about your account and all the things that you've purchased for the Switch digitally will work on the new machine. All your carts will work on the new machine.
Or just give me like a thing I can put in the Switch cartridge slot, and I can plug in my Game Boy Advance games, or my,
Oh, I'd love that.
Or just go ahead and throw. I mean, you gave me Genesis games, guys. Come on, throw some GBA games.
That'll happen before the end of the year. I think that's going to happen.
Come on.
I got some great replies as well to the poll. It's been great to see it follow in the footsteps of the Game Boy as the little system that could, from Tyler Bourne. That's a great comment, and that's a great reason why the Switch is so cool. Business-wise, I guess they don't need to. It's selling fine, but it's severely underpowered. The $300 iPad is way more powerful and made of better materials for a similar price. Nintendo doesn't try to compete on graphics, but it would be nice to have more modern games, from Chris and Color. I think we are all in agreement with that. I think that would be fantastic. And Neil says, I think they got at least 2 more years on the Switch, given they really just put out the OLED revision. They need to support their developers and partners in maximizing Switch capabilities. It's awesome statistic. The Switch, from Nintendo's standpoint, is just sort of midway through its lifespan, so we're going to see, much more content brought over to the Switch. But at the same time, Nintendo is always one to surprise us, and they might freaking announce it this year. And I wouldn't put anything past 2022. It's just been weird surprise after weird surprise. So it might be like, here it is, and you can buy it in March.
Like, if you look under your computer right now, there's a box. And like, what?
Well, let's move on. We got a pretty good look at Ghostwire Tokyo. Now, this one is coming out from Tango Gameworks, Shinji Mikami's company out of Tokyo, and it's owned by Bethesda, which is owned by Xbox. But this is a at least timed exclusive for the PlayStation 5. I actually got a chance to check out a developer-led hands-off preview a few weeks ago, and I was really impressed by where Tango is going with this. I'm a little bit surprised that it's T-rated. It's not an M-rated game, and it's not about super gory, decapitations and blood splatter and all that stuff happening everywhere. But it definitely does deliver the freaky, deaky scares. The soundtrack and the music and the sound effects, absolutely phenomenal in this game. And what I'm kind of grooving on is that it fuses some of that psychological terror that we get from good survival horror games with superpowers. Like, how smart is that?
Yeah, I mean, you want to get away from that M rating just to have everybody evaporate. It is the into the nether. You just matrix them. Done. I mean, looks cool. I definitely want to play it though. Cyberpunk looked cool also, and I played it, and I was just like, well, that happened.
Well, this isn't as open world and ambitious, and the engine is going to cave in on itself as Cyberpunk is. It's It's going to run well. This is an accomplished development studio. They've been able to make lots and lots of games over the years. It's a lot of Capcom expats, and they know what they're doing, and they didn't overextend, but they still have a next-gen feeling kind of experience, especially with this idea of a ray-traced Tokyo and all of this beautiful lighting. And
you had me there. You had me at Tokyo.
Yeah,
I can't go there physically. I'll take it in the video game.
I was in a room. It was all a digital sort of access point to the media, and the developers were talking and all that stuff. But I was in a room with a lot of other game journalists, and we were all just recognizing how much we miss going to Tokyo, and this game is going to give us albeit a highly, completely crazy looking, over the top visit to Tokyo. It does sort of fit that bill too. It does sort of give us a sense of traveling to this incredible city. And what an amazing city to use as your backdrop as well, right? There's all kinds of cool corners. There's all the historical, yokai, the ghost stories and things like that are a part of the mythology of Japan. It's all interwoven into this, and it's all the high-tech stuff as well.
Mystical crossbows.
Yeah, there's a BioShock kind of vibe to this. Yeah. Absolutely. This definitely feels like the team was actively trying to make something that was going to appeal to a broader audience even than Evil Within did, Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's going to go to Resident Evil scale, but it definitely got me hyped. It looked really polished and really slick, and we got a good 20-minute look at this thing just this week on the PlayStation YouTube channel. So. And the other thing that they did this week is they announced it's coming out March 25th, which we didn't know. So it's another game in this sort of crowded pre-spring of gaming right now that's happening. There's so much good stuff to play. Yeah, no, it's going to be a busy time for the next few weeks in gaming for sure. And this is just going to bring out the end of March with me going back to Mystical Tokyo. Can't wait. Yeah, it does look really, really freaking cool. Now, I haven't played it. I haven't got hands-on time. I haven't gotten lost, but they played through a sequence, and they showed us the game moving and all of the widgets and all the stuff that you could manipulate and all the things that you could collect. They gave us a good taste of what it's going to taste of the good life. Feel like. See what it tastes like. Absent us being able to actually play it. But I suspect the preview builds and review builds and stuff like that are going to be out soon. So we'll definitely be back with some thoughts on this title. But, I was pleasantly freaked out, creeped out, and impressed by what I saw from Ghostwire Tokyo. And the other thing that I really liked about this reveal is they also showed us a little bit of the Tango Gameworks studio. We actually traveled there for the Evil Within. We did some behind-the-scenes stuff with Bethesda back then, and it was really cool. Great facility. It's weird to see everybody in their masks and being COVID safe and stuff, but incredibly, incredible craftspeople there. People that have spent many years in game development and have a really, really good understanding of what players like. So, yeah, I'm psyched, and Shinji Mikami's a genius, and I think Ghostwire is going to be a lot of fun. I hope, man. My fingers are crossed. I hope it's awesome. Right there with you. Yeah. Both of hands, fingers, toes. Well, something else I'm super psyched for is something that we just realized is coming out next week. Yeah, Sifu's developer studio Slowclap has done something quite cool for the lead up to the game's launch. They shot and created a live action trailer. And I'm like, what? Why can't this be the game? The game looks great, but this is awesome too. Look at that action. Like, what is going on? It's like people have been watching the Raid Redemption, over. Have you seen that movie? Oh yeah, one of the greatest movies of all time. Raid 2. Yeah, ridiculous. They're remaking that movie, and it's clear. I think they worked with one person who conceptualized everything, did the visual effects, shot everything, edited it, wrote the storyline, and I mean this is just ridiculous. But I think it's effective because this is, we've only seen, snippets of what the gameplay is going to look like and play like. Yeah. But this is what we imagine when we've seen the footage. I mean, they've done a really good job at sort of giving us this John Wick, the Raid Redemption kind of aesthetic in the game. So why not go right back to like the cinematic source here? This is amazing stuff. I mean, it's gonna, as
unfortunate is what I think it is, because you see something like this and like they could make the game look like this. Like these are the guys that did the mocap for the game, or that recorded all the moves for it. I'm like, oh my god, how awesome would it have been to have that live action sort of. When you look at a game like Ghostwire Tokyo, how it has that realistic look. Yeah, I dig the animation stuff, but you see a guy doing it in real life, you're like, well, they could just record that.
Yeah, especially after we've seen the Unreal Engine 5 Matrix demo thing that they did for the PlayStation 5. Like we are gonna have video game footage that approximates this in the next generation. Maybe that's Sifu 2. Maybe that's something that Slow Clap is able to do, is sort of take the rendering technologies that are imminent. And the horsepower that the gaming industry is going to be providing us, and they go to something even more photoreal. I mean, wouldn't that be nuts?
They would get.
I hadn't thought of that, but when I'm seeing this footage and you talk, yes,
they would get this. They would. Kudos to you, Slow Clap.
Literal slow clap. Well, one of the things that I think is pretty interesting here is they show off one of the gameplay elements where the character dies. He gets killed by the bladed warrior there, and he fades away, and he sees how he died, and then he comes back to life in the fiction of the story in this trailer, which is kind of cool. He needs to learn from this mistake, and he comes back a little wiser, but also a little bit older, and this is pretty freaking cool. So the game is gonna
like that element. It just has me thinking about a game. Like, what if you played a game like that where every time you died, you got a little bit older, and you learned from your deaths?
That's what Sifu is.
Until you were just like 1,000 years old, and you're just like, I can't play it anymore.
That's exactly what Sifu is. So this is the same character. He's risen from the dead, and he's older, and he knows how to beat this guy. So we get a sense of that, and that is an incredible core conceit. And it's kind of lifting from, the Souls franchise and stuff like that, where you're taking separate runs. But you're right, this transition from live action to the more stylized cartoony look of Sifu the game is kind of interesting. But every time you perish in Sifu, you come back a little bit older with some.
Imagine the guy who killed you. He's like, "Wait, where'd you get that beard?
Yes.
You didn't have that when I killed you before."
Well, I think this if the game delivers. If the game delivers, this is going to be something we're going to see again and again and again.
I'll let you know in a week when it comes out digitally.
Yeah, and that's the thing that because I this is obviously on my radar. This is one of the things I'm most excited for in 2022, but I didn't know it's out next week, and so that's what all the press is saying right now.
Yeah.
That's what the
physical copies are coming out next month, but digitally you can play the game in 4 days.
That's insane. You told me that. I looked online just before we went live, but I have a hard time believing that. I just can't believe it's next week.
As if there's not enough stuff coming in the next few weeks.
I know. There's so much stuff happening. We can't even keep all of these release dates straight. But something else that is coming is a new one from the folks over at Gearbox.
Gearbox has let people know that Tiny Tina's Wonderland, an action RPG that is tangential to the Borderlands franchise,
I wrote that,
is getting ready to release next month. So the hype is going to start going overdrive. Vic, are you excited to dive back into this wonderful world of the Borderlands created Wonderland?
Can we just go back to tangential?
Tangential.
Tangential, yes.
I like tangential.
Tangential. You've just, you know what? It fits with Borderlands. It fits with the wacky
This game's
universe.
got balls, guys. This game's gonna have balls. It's Tiny Tina's game, but she's got a pair.
It's tangential to the Borderlands series. Oh my god!
Like Ron Burgundy, tangential to the Borderlands franchise.
Well, this is an interesting idea here because obviously it's a different game than the Borderlands games have been, and I think. That's a good thing because one of the sort of complaints I could levy at Borderlands 3 was beautiful, but it didn't really feel like it leapfrogged over what had come before. It just ran better and looked a little cleaner, but it was very analogous to what we had seen before. And I think this
analogous.
It's very
tangential
and tangential and analogous. Yes, what I think is amazing. What I think they needed to do was just experiment, and clearly this role-playing themed. I mean, you're still shooting, but there's melee weapons and there's magic powers and
broken fingers.
Yeah, and it was always a role-playing experience. You know, it was kind of like a first-person shooter RPG, you know, where the guns and all that stuff that you could pick up was all part of the Diablo-esque kind of loot hook. But now I think it's leaning more into the fantasy kind of theme. The only challenge is that, you know, Borderlands has been around for a long time, and it's
almost as long as GTA 5.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's overstayed its welcome a little bit, and I want it to feel disparate and also have connective tissue to what we've known, but that's a delicate balance. And the other thing, too, that I've noticed with the Borderlands stuff is that it's all so jokey, ha-ha, and it works really hard to be funny, and if it's not funny, it really diminishes how much you get from that game. And that comedy in video games, as we know, is so freaking hard, right? Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to be laughing when I play this. I don't know if I'm going to feel like it's totally different from, you know, the Borderlands vibe. It does look pretty, yeah, absolutely. I've always loved the aesthetic, and the Borderlands 1 and 2 and the pre-sequel, they all, like, I mean, part of the problem is I played those to death and I got completely hooked, even though I was, you know, done with this sort of apocalyptic desert-based shooter type thing, because the first one came out at a time where there was a bunch of games like that, like Rage and other ones out there. Yeah. And I thought, I'm not going to dig this. And I remember I reviewed it with Scott, and we were like, we were poo-pooing it. And it's so scatological, this segment here. And then, but then he and I could not stop playing it. We became completely obsessed and played the DLC and just recognized what a beautiful experience it was. But I had a lot at the Borderlands buffet, and I just want this to feel like the past, but totally different. So
some different spices. Yeah. Some different ingredients.
So good luck with that, Gearbox.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. But you know, hopefully they thread the needle and they make something really extraordinary. I think I'm going to have some early access to the game, so I can come back and chat about that a little bit.
Nice.
But you know, obviously I haven't touched the game. There's been no events. I haven't left my basement. There's been
this box.
I'm in this. I'm in this box, just like all of us. Most of us are there. All right. So, are you excited though for Tiny Tina's Wonderland?
I mean, I will try to get around to playing it. There's just a lot. There's a lot coming. There's a lot coming in hot.
And have you heard Dying Light 2 is 500 hours of gameplay?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to add that one to the list. I just started Uncharted 4. I can't wait to finish that. It's playing pretty good so far. But no, there's just so much stuff coming in hot.
Yeah.
Your Elden Rings is coming out. New Horizon.
Yes.
You got Sifu, which drops in a surprise next week.
It's insane. I still can't believe it. Like, we just reported on it. I don't believe what we just said on this show. We said it.
Breaking news.
And I think we're lying. I don't think it's coming. But if it is, I can't wait. It's amazing. And so my expectations for Tiny Tina's Wonderland, I have them. Like, I have some high hopes and some high expectations, but they're reserved. I'm not freaking out for it like I'm freaking out for Horizon Forbidden West. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm hyped for.
I'm Forbidden East, the sequel.
Forbidden East, the sequel. You're already thinking about the next, which will be out in March, that one, I think.
that comes out a week after West comes out.
All right, well, something that is out, it's actually out today, and I had a chance to give it a shot, is OlliOlli World. I've been playing this game on my Xbox Series X. I feel like this is a way better fit for the Nintendo Switch, which is also available for it. It's on a bunch of different machines, PC and everything. This is Roll 7, going back to their OlliOlli roots, and I was addicted to OlliOlli 1 and 2 on my Vita, my PlayStation Vita, which was a perfect fit. This is in some ways a two-dimensional skateboarding game where you're looking at things from sort of the side view perspective, but with this game, they've moved everything into 3D assets and 3D art, so the camera does pivot and change, and it changes up some of the mechanics. You're able to wall ride off of elements in the background. You're actually able to go up and down on ramps and things like that, so you go back from where you came. There's a huge emphasis on storytelling and crafting a whole cavalcade of interesting characters here, sort of in the vein of Adventure Time or Steven Universe. Like, there's a beautiful, animated kind of vibe to this thing. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous game. And it's incredibly fast. And so what happens is you meet up with your skateboarding chums, and they talk with you about some of the challenges, that you're going to go forward with. Somewhat like the Tony Hawk style challenges about, accomplishing tricks and getting to the finish line as quickly as possible, maybe with as few wipeouts as possible. And as you complete these things and as you learn the new skills that you keep continuing to unlock, the challenge ramps up, and that's pun intended, I guess. So there is, quite a bit of skill that you need to have. And this is a game where it's not you press a button and you're jumping. This is you use the right thumbstick to do a series of moves. You can kind of crouch down and then tilt up. So have you played these OlliOlli games before?
Wasn't the first one on the Vita?
Yeah, that's where I fell in love with this franchise. And
then I was like, I don't recall playing it on console, but I'm pretty sure I played the first one on a Vita.
They were standouts on the Vita, yeah, 100%. And so
should have called it Flippy Board, like Flappy Bird, like a Flippy Board.
Yeah, you definitely are doing that, right? You've got this idea of using your right thumbstick as almost another foot, and you're kicking and flipping the board in a bunch of different places. But you have to remember that you're doing that, and I think there's so much muscle memory from using buttons in so many games.
It's like actual skateboarding.
Right.
Like actual skateboarding.
Well, they're trying to accomplish that. And you know what? Skate did something like this too, right? So it's an interesting two-dimensional fusion of some of the mechanics and some of the lessons that you might pick up from Skate, the series Skate. Yeah. But it doesn't come, at least to me, it doesn't come immediately. Even though I did get quite good at the original OlliOlli and its sequel, this is still like a new experience because there aren't a lot of games like this. So there's a lot of wipeouts, but this is much more forgiving and family friendly and cutesy. This is supposed to be OlliOlli for everybody, but still the pace of the game is pretty freaking fast, and you've got rails to grind and ramps to go up and down on.
It's like skateboarding trials.
Yeah, there's skateboarding trials, but there's also kind of a race element where you're trying to get from point A to point B. There's also alternate paths that you can take. And so a lot of stuff gets, unlocked, and a lot of stuff gets thrown at you very quickly, and you have to get used to, making decisions and using your thumbs and your thumb skill as quickly as you possibly can. And it does get a little bit frustrating. As beautiful as it is, as cutesy as it looks, this game gets really hard. I'd love to see you stream this, actually, because I think you would kick ass at it. You have a lot of patience for games like that. You have some patience for games. You learn them. But I do appreciate all of its customization options and the sort of all of its customization options and its beautiful scope and spec and the ambition of the title. I think look at this one. I have to wall ride down that giant path.
You can do that?
You can, but you have to hit the jump at exactly the right time. So
I'm trying to do that.
I'm getting some points here. Now I have to wall ride here. I have to jump again. Oh, I did it. I did the whole thing. I did do it. Look at that.
Yeah, see?
Holy
I
mackerel.
knew it. I knew you could do it.
I did it. I hit it at precisely the right thing. But the one crazy thing about this game is, of course, when you do wipe out, you can go, look at how I'm doing pretty good. But I wiped out instantly. You can restart. And that restart button becomes a total reflex. And I found that as I restart, I found that even if I was getting close to wiping out, I'd press that button, reflexively, and I'd be
like Forza. Why? Rewind. Let's just. I'm gonna hit this corner really hard. I should have braked. Should have hit the brakes.
Well, sometimes I am just about to make it, but I'm so used to wiping out that I'll press the Y button and I'll restart, and I'll go, ugh! Because I'm just
because
I
was gonna land it. No.
So, there's more to unlock in the game for me. There's all kinds of outfits and cool hairstyles and all kinds of characters. There's also online multiplayer play. There's a leaderboard system in there too, where you can get daily challenges and stuff. It's a pretty damn robust experience. I really want to check this out on the Switch and see how it plays in handheld mode. I think this is one of those games that's just going to feel really nice as a portable experience. I don't know if that's because of my Vita.
Yeah,
moments,
this game looks like it would cramp up my giant hands
on the PlayStation or on the Switch. Yeah. Potentially. But it's it's damn cool and absolutely the most ambitious OlliOlli game that rolls.
Is it on Game Pass?
No, but I'm sure it will come to Game Pass. I'm sure Xbox is aiming towards that.
I'll download it right now, but it's not on there.
Well, what I've played so far, I really dig it. I'm not. It's not like a complete refresh on the concept of OlliOlli. It's not like it's just started over from scratch. There's a lot of feeling like I've played some of this kind of stuff before, but it's sure got a beautiful coat of paint and a lot of great new aesthetics. And honestly, potentially the best soundtrack of 2022. The music is freaking incredible in this. It's kind of chill, and there's some kind of funky rhythms to it. It's so fantastic to just hear the music on in your house. Fantastic production overall on OlliOlli World. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. All right, we've got a couple more things to tell you about, and this one is a little bit strange. I have to admit, I picked up a new Aston Martin DB5, a James Bond collectible.
I thought you meant a real one.
This is as close as I'll ever
get. That Twitch money rolling in. Guys, thank you for all the subscriptions. I've went ahead and bought an Aston Martin.
I love this freaking car. We actually saw a real life Aston Martin, and I on the ride back from camping, my family and I, and it was racing down the highway, and I just took a video of it and put the James Bond music and stuck it up on Instagram. I don't know if you guys have ever seen an Aston Martin in real life, but it is. I mean,
Roger Moore driving it?
No, it was just some dude.
That would have been. How cool would that have been? You'd be like, look at this sweet.
And Daniel Craig is driving it down the street. Well, what's interesting about this is that this is actually a Playmobil James Bond car, and it has ejection seats, and it has the little James Bond character that is a little Playmobil figure, and it never in a million years. It's too close.
Is it Daniel? Is it Pierce Brosnan?
No, it's Playmobil guy. But never in a million years would I ever think that there would be a Playmobil collectible on something that came out in 1964. It's actually the Goldfinger Aston Martin. And it's not, they didn't put an age rating on the box or anything like that. It's not a kid thing. It's a total collector's item.
It comes with a bunch of different figs.
Comes with
figs in there.
Comes with Goldfinger, and it comes with Odd Job, and it comes with
slappers.
And it actually takes a little bit of time to kind of put together. There, you have to assemble everything. And what's crazy about this little toy is that it has a lot of the cool Aston Martin movie functionality as well. And I've got a video here that kind of shows off some of the features here. So that's kind of the
detail. Comes with actual smoke bombs.
No, it doesn't have the smoke bombs. That would be amazing. But it has the license plates that change. So you can have a few different license plates. It has the bumpers that retract and will push into the cars. There's machine guns underneath the headlamps there. Yeah, they've got the tire shredders on the sides. I mean, it's insane to me that we have this level of detail, and then these super happy little Playmobil figures. Has a bulletproof shield in the back that pops up with little bullet holes on there. There's cute little James Bond, with a smirk sticking out the window there. It has an ejection seat, which doesn't really fly with the character in it. I tried, but I did test out just the seat off the thing. So it took me a little bit of time to kind of put it all together, and then I popped the seat in, and then I pressed the button.
You threw Tommy in there and just hit the button.
Nope, Tommy's not in there, but the seat does go. It does actually fly. Once I figured out, yep, there it goes, and it went falling down. So I had to go and get the thing. So it actually does work. So all of these different little elements in there. Now adore this car. I know it's not for everybody. I know that James Bond isn't everybody's favorite out there, but I grew up with James Bond, and Goldfinger was such an incredible movie. This car is insane. I have the Lego Aston Martin. I have the Corgi actually have the Corgi Aston Martin from the 60s, which was based off of the Goldfinger car from 1965. So they're as close as I'll ever get to actually owning an Aston Martin in toy size. But I adore
We get you a Power Wheels Aston Martin. Just
You know what? If they made a Power Wheels Aston Martin, I'd probably pick one of those things up.
I'm sure they do. Well, worth looking into, because that would be a hell of a review. Just a grown-ass man and his tiny little...
Well, that's what's so weird. I'm a grown-ass man with a Playmobil James Bond car. And
they just came out with the sick Fisher-Price Golden Girls set. That was pretty primo, my friend.
Did you get that one?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, of course you did. All right.
Gotta go with the collection.
So, have you played Dying Light 2 yet?
No. I do have a Dying Light beanie. That's about as close as I've gotten to playing the game.
Oh, yeah? Let's see it. Do you have it? Is it nearby?
Mm-hmm. It's right here.
Let's check this Dying Light 2 beanie. All
to
right.
review my Dying Light 2 beanie. This
Very
is
nice.
Still in the bag. It's got a little toque for those who are up north.
Oh, fantastic. That looks cool.
Yeah.
Well, I got a press release today from Newegg, and they have partnered up with Intel, and they've got a competition, a sweepstakes. They're actually giving away a Dying Light 2 PC, like a souped-up Intel PC, and it's open to everybody in the U.S. and in Canada. I put the link into the description of the thing that we're the show, so you can click right on the link and then enter to win. I don't think there's any purchase or anything necessary, but that's the PC that you can win. And then they're also, I noticed if you buy a 12th generation Intel chip or processor for a PC, you'll also get Dying Light 2 for free, and it's a pretty freaking fun game. It's pretty damn sweet. But
click on that link. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, please go ahead, everybody. I put the
Great show. Great show, Vic. Good job.
I put the link in the stream there, and I'll put it on our YouTube channel as well. So good luck, everybody, with that, and that's going to do it for the rundown today. That was a lot of fun. I know it was a ton to talk about, but it's over fast, isn't it?
I mean, there's a lot happens in a week. Now all these games are just surprise dropping. So now I'd love to talk, but I'm too busy playing everything that comes out in the next 7 days.
Who buys who next week? What company buys it?
I think
what studio?
Sony gets WB.
Sony buys WB. Somebody's going to pick up WB. I think somebody's going to pick up those. I mean, probably not this year though, because they want to recoup.
Save some of the money.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you feel like, you got Microsoft buying Activision for $70 billion or whatever it was. They only spent less than $4 billion for Bungie. Sony's got some money lying around. They can start piling up on the studios right now.
Do you think WB is going to be one of those studios that gets picked up? The WB Games infrastructure, all of those studios that they have? That's been rumored for a long time.
I mean, yeah, if it's a rumor, maybe it'll be a trumor someday. I don't know. We'll see.
Anything is possible, though. I think there's
Marvel buys DC.
I think there's going to be an interesting announcement. That's been rumored too.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Well,
it's like the WB, and then Disney owns, and then it's all.
And they're trying to sell the CW right now, but they're also somebody tweeted out to me that they're working on a Gotham Knights pilot, which is based on the game. It's based on the comic story, but the game is based on the comic story. So there are interesting moves afoot, and I think all of them kind of lead to this idea of vertical integration and metaverse and subscriptions and trying to keep everybody there. But I would not be surprised if Disney buys DC Comics, and I would not be surprised even though Nintendo says that they're not buying studios and they're not trying to get into this arms race. I would not be surprised if they bought Sega.
Well, what about Sega just dropping out of the arcade business?
Yes.
That was another news from this week. It's like, wait, no, Gigo, or now they're Gigo.
Yeah.
Geigo.
Yeah.
Don.
I mean, that's not a shock, and especially in a pandemic. It's they had a long run with it. Yeah, JBJ Blaze says, "Don't tell me the CW is making Gotham Knights. Don't kill my interest already." Well, have you seen the Superman and Lois show?
Surprisingly, I have not.
It is a great show.
Superman's my guy. I just feel like, why does Superman always have the scruff? He's like Dexter. It's like,
dude, you have to watch the show. It's really good. It delivers on a whole bunch of different fronts. You know, it is tethered to the CW thing in a way, but it stands alone. I've been so impressed with that show.
I feel like I'm always late to the part. Like with Superman's my dude, but Smallville I didn't get into until like season 5, and then I was like, oh, this is pretty fun. I'm gonna breeze through all this.
That was great. I'll tell you one thing about the deal with Microsoft and Activision. Well, we brought that up. Obviously, the FTC is looking at it. There's going to be a lot of
they just X-Net. They're like, sorry.
Well, I mean, they're going to have to prove that they're not trying to monopolize everything. But the other thing is that because of that, I think it's going to slow down some of the bigger deals that
Heavy
Microsoft.
Purchasings.
Yeah, they might be able to buy studios, but I don't know if they're going to be able to keep buying publishers at that scale. I mean, who else would they be able to buy anyways? I mean, it's UB and EA pretty much at that scale.
Yeah.
And there's Japanese sort of interests involved with selling a Japanese company. There's a lot of different hoops.
Sony buys Square Enix.
That might happen. The consolidation hasn't stopped. Sony says they are buying more things, and Microsoft has also said that more things are in the pipeline. Nintendo's been the only one that said they aren't buying anything, but I think they're going to buy Sega. I think that's going to happen.
I mean, right now, why not? Like, it might as well.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing to think about, is going back to the days of Nintendo versus Sega, but I just joined forces, guys. You've been doing the Olympic Games for so many years now. Mario and Sonic have been, sharing the Olympic torch for quite a few years now. It's time that we combine forces.
And everybody keeps piping up with Konami. Please buy Konami. Someone buy Konami.
Yeah. Somebody do something with Konami.
Well,
not just Pez is beloved, but there's some other franchises in there we could bring back. Yeah, I need new Contra, is what I'm saying. If Way Forward can give me a new Contra game, that'd be fantastic.
Oh my God, yes. That's a great idea.
Just throwing that out there. Just putting that out on the internet.
Beautiful, beautiful concept, my friend. What are you going to be playing this weekend for people to watch your stream? Oh, it's the Super Bowl, right? Is it this weekend?
No, we don't care about the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Super Bowl, it's a sporting event. That's next week. Anyway,
okay, all right.
I'm going to be finishing up Uncharted 4.
Okay.
I just got a code for a new Switch game called something about the ocean. I don't know. Ocean's Heart. It's like a top-down Zelda, like Super Nintendo Zelda style looking game.
Sweet. So people will be able to watch those?
Yeah, people. That's where I'm gonna be streaming.
Okay.
It's going down.
And it's twitch.tv/Don_Fubar.
That's where you'll find me.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us today, my friend. I will see you very soon, potentially next week.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
I'm not dead from all the gameplay I have.
All the Sifu.
Lack of Sifu.
Thanks for being here, and thank you all for watching. If you're watching on Twitch, don't forget to subscribe, to this channel. Follow this channel, but subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/EPNTV. Or if you're on YouTube, come and join us for a live version of the rundown at twitch.tv/EPN. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you soon, and until then, play forever.